Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I've recorded anything of note, and I figured I'd kick back and entertain with a game of Dungeons of Dredmor. Now, this is a game that I have been a fan of for some time, dating back quite a few years from when either a friend or my brother gave it to me as a birthday gift some years ago, and let me tell you, no regrets whatsoever. This game is a fun roguelike adventure game. It is difficult even on easy mode, and I'm losing my train of thought already. How about that? Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump on in. I've played this quite a lot, although not recently, not since before I switched from my laptop to this new computer. So hopefully all the levels are in order, and you're not getting overwhelmed with the background music, which I turned down as low as possible without hopefully overwhelming. Now, I'm going to go Dwarvish Moderation. I'm going to go Permadeath. I'm going to click off the Realm of the Diggle Gods, although I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get all that far, and I'm going to click the option box for No Time to Grind. So, let's continue on. Now, here's the character creation screen. Now, you've got a lot of options. There are some weapon skill options. There's some buffer and magic skills and some crafting skills and all that. And then there are a bunch of add-on skills that came in with the several expansions. Now, the title splash screen you may have noticed was Dredmor 2 Diggle Harder, and that was the you have to name the expansion pack, which is amusingly enough an expansion pack that you have to name yourself, and you get an achievement in Steam just for doing so. So let's see here. I'm going to go with axes, crossbows, dual wielding. I need a defensive skill, although I'll come back to that. I'm going to go smithing and tinkering, and you'll find out why after a little while. Nah, I can't use shield bearer if I'm going to go with dual wielding. I am going to go with the armor skill, and because I need a further option for long-range offense, I'm going to splash a little fire magic in there. Now, let's see here. Choose your name. Okay. This is always the toughest part of designing a character. Well, let's call him Tanque McHacky, since that's pretty much what I'm doing. And so the opening screen goes, in ages long past, the great heroes bound the Dark Lord Dredmor in the derpths. In the depths of the earth, that his evil would never trouble the land anymore. Alas, the foul lich Dredmor proved most devious and patient, for he had been loosening his magical bonds, slowly freeing himself to again spread his evil in the world of light. He must be stopped. Again. Once more it is time of adventure, of glory. It is time for a hero. Unfortunately, this hero is you. You have been summoned by the king to prove yourself, to save the land and its people, to join the heroes of legend in victory over the Dungeons of Dredmor. Alright, so it drops you into the start of the game with pretty much not a lot. Since I splashed Well, let's take a look at my inventory and my character screen. Wow, this is really tiny resolution. I'm gonna have to take some time with this. So, it starts you off with some equipment relevant to your skill choices. Now, up here we have a map, which is unfortunately partially occluded by my recording overlay, so I'll have to diddle with that later, I think. But, so it starts me off with the crossbow, so I'm just going to right-click that to equip it, so now I've got a ranged option. It starts me off with some relevant tools for my crafting skills, so I've got an anvil, I've got a disposable ingot press, which actually is not so disposable at all, and actually it looks like there are 2 of them. So, yeah, there's that. There are some tinkerer parts for my tinkering skill set. Let's see, we have cassiterite, which is a tin source. We have brass piping, some chunks of platinum ore, and some leather armor, which I think is the usual base armor, but since I chose the armor skill set, I've got an iron breastplate, and it looks like I've got a crude stone axe. So I'm gonna have to fight my way through some monsters already in order to kit up and figure out what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna close these out, and we'll open the skill tree. So here are all the skill selections that I picked earlier on. I have the axe tree. This will increase the damage I do with axes. Here's some skill with crossbows, and these at level up you get 1 point to level any given skill. Here's blacksmithing, here's tinkering, here's the fire magic. I'm going to want to max that out early on, that and my melee capability, just so I can work my way through. Now, we start out next to some food which restores health over time, and we have a drink vending machine which booze restores mana. So we've got some food, we've got sliced bread and cheese. Ooh, okay. So let's pop the crafting menu open. Now, I'll go over a little bit later on some of this stuff, but I've clicked Have Ingredients. Now, in order... Oh, right, I've got this cassiterite and this platinum, so I'm just going to go ahead and craft this up until I'm out of all the relevant materials. And this one, grilled cheese, is made by combining sliced bread and cheese. Now, that's a much more powerful health restoring option than either of these, and since food boosts health regen, not an instant health pop, that's a lot better option. So you can see I've lost the bread and cheese off of my hotbar, and it is replaced by a grilled cheese sandwich. So I'm just going to go ahead and charge into the next door down, and looks like I've got a room full of ooh, wow, a lot of monsters. Okay, we've got a bat, an evil magic potato, I'll talk about him later. Diggles, which are basically the rats of this game, some ravens, and a death, which is actually kind of a tough monster to beat. So I'm going to equip my dragon's... Well, no, actually, I'm going to equip my wooden bolt and take out this potato guy. Oops, I think I missed. Okay, yep. Alright, now some monsters are getting closer. Now, if I make a move first into either of these guys' threatened areas, then I'm going to get attacked first, and I don't want that. Since I'm first level, I'm still a little bit squishy, so I'm going to let these guys... Ooh, they lined up just nicely. So this dragon's breath will throw out a line of fire, so I'm just going to cast it out and see what happens. Ooh, okay. Excellent. Crowd management. So, that baddie is probably going to take ongoing fire damage since it's in that little field of fire that I've created, as is this death. Take out that, okay. Alright, and now I'm just gonna hack away. Oop, ow. Okay, well, I'm doing just dandy. I've already leveled up. The first few levels are actually pretty easy to earn. So what I'm gonna do... oh gosh. Now, the key to progression in this game is good crafting skill. And that way you can upgrade your equipment much more quickly. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to invest some serious points in my tinker and my blacksmith skills. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to improve my blacksmith skill. That'll give me a little bit more brawn, and it looks like it gives me, in addition to another point of blacksmithing skill, it also gives me some info about disarming traps, which is immensely handy in this game since traps are all over the place, and if you don't go straight tank, then well, you're pretty much screwed next time you run across a trap. Oop, there we go. Alright, there was a raven. Now you can just walk over stuff to auto pick up, and you auto pick up gold when you land next to it. So there's a hidden door. I don't want to go in there yet because it's there's a strong monster back there. So let's see here. Gargoyle arrow trap. I'm gonna disarm that. That gets me points. That's another good reason to invest in some tinker skill, is so that you can disarm traps and you know, level up quicker. Excuse me, break for a sip of tea. So, I'm having trouble with this door because I don't have any lockpicks or anything like that. Ooh. Oh my. Okay, well, looks like I'm gonna have to beat down some diggles here. Alright, so I'm taking some damage, but I'm also putting out some more damage. And... alright, so I've gotten some gold out of that. There's some hooch. Let's see, there's a lever. I don't know... excuse me, I don't know what that lever does yet. Now, these bookshelves are endlessly handy because these provide crafting recipes, like this one. Gaga's glaze. So you basically layer several different kinds of beef on your armor, and it gives you extra health down here. So that's a handy recipe to know. So I'm just gonna go ahead and well, I'm gonna investigate down here. Ooh, a sickly diggle. These guys can poison you if you're not careful. Yep. And you'll see up top left, there's a feed of damage that's going on. I slash the diggle, he poisons me. I mean, there's no ongoing poison, thank goodness. But it's still there. So I'm just gonna pick up all this stuff and, yeah, let's see, what's this book have to say? This is a test of the emergency dungeon warning system. This is only a test. Had this been a real emergency, you would be dead by now. Okay. Ominous, but okay. Oh, okay, well that wasn't bad at all. I pulled a lever and, hey, pants. Pants, as you may or may not be aware, are an invaluable social currency. And these pants will provide me a little bit of extra dodge chance. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep on keeping on. Now there's an extra door down here, and I know there's a diggle up in this room somewhere. So I'll just missed that one by just a little bit. Now you'll notice that there's pick up trap option or just disarm trap options. It depends on how your trap skill is. So I'm going to pick this trap up because that means I can sell it later on when I encounter a storekeeper, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Okay, so I broke down this door, and there's a couple of diggles and a nest. Alright. Oop. Hiya! Okay, some of these guys have special colors, and you'll notice down at the bottom of this guy's blurb, this monster is the commander of Lord Dredmor's 19th flank, the Diabolic Newt. This game has a really goofy random name generator for a bunch of like squadron names and stuff like that, but if you kill one of these special mobs before you kill any mobs in the area that might be subordinate to him, the associated mobs will go running. So I'm just gonna go ahead and knock him out, and look, there's a Diggle egg. Now there's a couple of achievements associated with those guys, and I'll talk about them later, and you can also use them to craft one of the more powerful health restoring items in the game. Drink from the fountain? Sure, why not? YOLO. I found an artifact in the Darom, the badly dressed eggplants. As I said before, this game has a rather goofy random name generator, and interestingly enough, if you go into the config files for the game itself, you can actually modify and or add to it. Now, this ring has 2 points of resistance for transmutative. It gives you 2 health regeneration, and it also gives me one additional block chance. Heck yeah, I'm all about that, especially this early on. Yeah. So I'm gonna equip that. Oh, it's not transmutative resistance, it's transmutative damage. Okay, even better, that ups my DPS. So, oops, I hit escape one too many times. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at anything in here. Alright, the music is not overwhelming. I can stand to bring up the sound effects just a little bit more, so there we go. Now, these mystical graffitis, I'm not even going to play with right now, but I'll come back to it later. You'll find something later that it has to do with. So, I'm going to open this door. Oh! Siegfried. Hi, Siegfried. Die. Alright. And there he goes. And he's dead. Now, you notice that guy had a halo around his head. Well, that means he's a special named mob. Some of them have dangerous extra attacks. Some of them are just over-leveled for the type of character you're running. So, let's see here. I leveled up. I'm going to increase my, actually, I'm gonna increase my, my axe skill to increase my, damage output a little bit. This particular skill gives me a little bit extra accuracy with an axe, and it also gives me, something else. It looks like armor or oh no, crit chance. Okay. And it also gives me a random chance to inflict extra damage with a particularly strong strike. Now, that looks like that's it. These satanic displacement glyphs are also a bad idea to mess with early on in the game because they will transport you around to a linked pad somewhere else in the level. I don't want to mess with that right now, so I'm just going to continue on. And now we find a statue of Dredmor. You break that, you get 100 points of XP per level of the dungeon. And these levers are all linked together with little teleport triggers, so I'm just going to bamf myself over here. Okay, there's not really anything much here. There's a anvil crafting kit that I don't need on that central aisle, probably guarded by a monster. Oops. Okay, well, I just bounced past without messing with that at all. I'm going to disarm this trap so I don't have to worry about... Oh, there's no monster over there. Okay, well, Alright then. And here's the door out of this area. And there's a blobby. Okay. Die. Die. Alright. And break the barrel, because you got to. Years of playing Diablo and such like have conditioned me so that I cannot pass a barrel without breaking it. And here's a chest. I'll bash it open, even though it's generally a bad idea. If you break the chest, then you don't get anything out of it. So there's a wand of Tesla, there's some pear wine, and we're back to start. Okay, so this whole branch of the dungeon is pretty much done as done can be. I'm going to go ahead and bash this door open. There's a robot monster in there that is generally pretty hardcore, but hey, I've leveled up twice, so... okay. I can probably stand up to it, yeah. Yeah, totally cool. Huh, rusty sword. Okay, well... it's not something that I'm terribly proficient in right now, but, well... I might be able to make use of it. So here's a bolts vending machine for my crossbow. I'm going to pass it by for right now because I don't really need it. There's a dagger. There's a mine. Ow. Ow. Okay, so I just set off that trap. Apparently it was a little bit beyond my level. Alright, there's another wand of Tesla. There's 2 Dredmor statues here. Kill the potato. Die, potato. Break the barrels. Alright, there's a shoddy dwarven IED. This is a subpar dwarven IED design. All crafts dwarf ship is pretty lousy actually. This game takes great delight in trashing on dwarves. Apparently the slant is heavily pro-elf here. So, let's see here. The ugly stick takes a spiky mace, steel ingot, and verdant poison with a alchemy kit, which I can't use, to produce the ugly stick. Oops. Okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. I was supposed to pop up somewhere else. I don't know what's happening. And I'm not going to bother with that trap right now since it's a little bit out of my range. So, I've identified it anyways. Oh, here's a gnome. And he's noticed me. And now he's dead. Yay. A mirror darkly shield. There's a mirror shield, bituminous coal, black pearl, potion of invisibility combined on a smithing kit makes a mirror darkly shield. I'll revisit some of these recipes later on down the line. Oh, more bookshelves. Okay. Ooh, golden axe. Alright. And defensive curds. Alright, you plate your armor with cheese. Sounds legit. Ooh, dangerously stable or unstable reactor. Those are awesome. And they can go wrong hilariously. Believe me, I know. Alright, I'm gonna finish this branch of the dungeon and then I'm gonna call it on this episode, but I'll come back to this a little bit later. Now, up here is an anvil of Krong. What you do with this is you take something from your inventory and you put it on an anvil of Krong. Now, none of my stuff is worth enchanting because I'm going to replace it all eventually. So I'm just going to pass it by for now, but once I get further on in the dungeon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up, and I'm going to hit every single anvil of Krong that I can and hope that RN Jesus is on my side. Because you can get some serious savagery on your weapons. I did a playthrough where I almost actually reached Dredmor, and I had some pretty heavily enchanted equipment. Oh, there's some enraged diggles, a sickly diggle, there's a lever. Oh, he didn't even pay any attention to me. Okay, well, I'll punish him for it. So, yes. These hallways, you have 2 levers, one of which goes to a room with some equipment in it, and one goes to a room with some monsters in it. And if you pull one, you can't have the other. I'm just gonna go away and come back to it when I'm ready. Huh. Okay. Stepped right over that, wasn't paying attention. Alright, my bad. A cracked orb, that could come in handy later on for crafting, and a mellow shrine. The mellow shrine makes you want to, like, chill out and stuff. Okay. Now, there's a little shrines of a goddess of side quests called Inconsequentia. And they'll have you take items to these shrines to be donated, sacrificed, what have you, or sometimes you'll have to fight monsters or something like that. And those mellow shrines are part of the quests that Inconsequentia randomly gives you. And now we have the Lost Wizard keys. These are incredibly handy because they give you a pocket dimension to store your stuff in. At the end of this, I'll cover that in my next episode of this playthrough, should I end up with a next episode. So here, you click on them to pick it up. This dimensional key bears a mysterious legend. Property of Pendor the Fabulous. Mad with power, prices so low they're crazy. Click the dimensional key widget on your status bar to visit your personal pocket dimension. This is the pocket dimension. Now you can escape to there if things get super hot, but you're not going to be able to heal. All you can do is craft while you're in there. You can't rest up, no mana regen, no health regen, so if you're using it to get away from monsters, you're going to drop right back into the situation you left, and you're going to get massacred. So let's get that right out of the way right now. But it is handy for storing a shitload of stuff, and believe me when I say you will have a bunch of stuff. Look at this, my inventory is already almost full, so I'll go there here at the end of this episode, and well, it looks like this branch of the dungeon is almost done anyways, so let's see, let's go back. I think I missed a doorway somewhere. No? Okay. Well, you know what? I think I'm gonna go there and start dropping stuff off. Now, this is your pocket dimension. There's a portal. Now, you remember that mystical graffiti way back towards the beginning of this playthrough. This control panel, if you enter the code that's given to you by the mystical graffiti, will teleport you to a pocket distant dimension, whatever. And you can get extra XP, extra items, you know, that sort of thing. There'll be monsters, some of it's only good for wizards, that sort of thing. And in the middle here, you can change the texture of your dungeon to, you know, whatever textures of the levels you visited. So right now, I think I'm just going to leave it as is, and you can also change these little widget thingies. So if I wanted to like make a brazier, I mean they have no effect really. They're just here for grins. I mean seriously, look. It's not changing the illumination or anything like that. It's just there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and change them all because I am incredibly picky about symmetry. So I'll just change them all to braziers, and that'll be the only changes I make. So I've got a system here. So I'm gonna pop open my inventory, and right here I'm going to dump my crafting goods. Now I'll tell you why I split these off, is because you only need one of each of those. So I'm going to drop anything I want to sell, which includes this ingot press, this leather, I'm not going to be able to use a dagger for anything, or a sword, because I'm not skilled with any of them. Oh. Oops.